Hello and welcome to Afghanistan News Today. Today is Tuesday, the 24th of December 2024. Headlines of the news. Interim government of Afghanistan bans girls over 6th grade from private education centers in Herat. Pakistani envoy, interim government foreign minister agree to bolster bilateral ties. Greek authorities have announced that the victims and survivors of a capsized boat in Greek waters are Afghan nationals. Dicker, ban on women working has deepened Afghanistan's crisis. Interim government of Afghanistan bans girls over 6th grade from private education centers in Herat. Rahmatullah Jaber, the interim government's education chief in Herat, announced in a letter that girls' education above the 6th grade in private education centers is prohibited. The interim government official said that girls' education above the 6th grade is prohibited by Mullah Hibatullah's decree until further notice. The interim government's education chief in Herat wrote in a letter to the Herat Education Department on Tuesday, December 24th, that according to the order of the leader of this group, the education of girls above the 6th grade in public and private schools and educational centers will be closed until further notice. Rahmatullah Jaber has asked the Herat Education Department to act in accordance with the ban. The letter was sent to the Department for Teacher Training, District Education offices in Anjil and Guzara, the interim government's intelligence directorate, and the Union of Private Educational Centers in Herat. With the closure of girls' schools above the 6th grade, girls in a number of provinces, including Herat, went to private educational centers to continue their studies. In the letter, the interim government's education chief said that the teaching of girls above the 6th grade in public and private schools and educational centers is prohibited. In the past few months, the interim government had closed a number of educational centers for girls' education in Herat. In a new report, Pakistani envoy, interim government foreign minister agreed to bolster bilateral ties. Islamabad, Pakistan, Mohammad Sadiq, Pakistan's special representative for Afghanistan, said on Tuesday that he held discussions with Amir Khan Mataki, the interim government's acting foreign minister, in which they agreed to enhance bilateral cooperation and foster regional peace and progress. In a statement shared on social media, Mr. Sadiq described the meeting as productive and wide-ranging. Agreed to work together to further strengthen bilateral cooperation as well as for peace and progress in the region, he wrote. Sadiq, Pakistan's newly appointed special representative for Afghanistan, arrived in Kabul late Monday at the head of a delegation, marking a significant visit aimed at enhancing bilateral relations. Sadiq announced the trip on X, saying, looking forward to meaningful discussions with Afghanistan's interim ministers, interim government officials to strengthen mutually beneficial cooperation across various areas. He described fostering brotherly relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan as one of the primary objectives of the visit. The trip is the first by a Pakistani delegation since relations between Islamabad and the interim government deteriorated in recent months, underscoring the complexity of the ties between the two neighbors. Pakistani officials, including the country's prime minister and defense minister, have accused the interim government of providing safe havens for TTP fighters, allowing them to launch attacks across the border. The interim government have repeatedly denied these accusations, asserting that they do not support the group and calling the recent violence in Pakistan an internal matter. In a report from Afghanistan News Today, Greek authorities have announced that the victims and survivors of a capsized boat in Greek waters are Afghan nationals. According to Afghanistan News Today and international media outlets, the incident occurred on Friday near the island of Rhodes in eastern Greece, close to the Turkish border. The Associated Press reported that Greek officials stated the boat capsized due to a maneuver to evade a patrol vessel, resulting in 8 fatalities. On Saturday, the Greek Coast Guard confirmed that a total of 18 migrants, 12 men, 3 women, and 3 minors, all Afghan nationals, were rescued. It was also reported that the deceased were from Afghanistan. Authorities mentioned that some of the migrants were hospitalized, with one in critical condition. Two Turkish nationals, aged 12 and 19, were arrested as suspected smugglers. The Greek Coast Guard stated that they are continuing the search for survivors or victims. The road sinking marks the second deadly migrant shipwreck in the past week. According to data from the Greek government, the number of migrants traveling illegally to Greece is expected to exceed 60,000 this year, with Syrians making up the largest group, followed by Afghans, Egyptians, Eritreans, and Palestinians. Afghan nationals seeking to migrate to Europe often travel to Turkey and primarily use Greece as a transit route to European countries. In another report from Afghanistan News Today, Karen Decker, ban on women working has deepened Afghanistan's crisis. Karen Decker, the U.S. charge d'affaires for Afghanistan, has stated that the ban on women working in non-governmental organizations has exacerbated the ongoing crisis in Afghanistan. In a message posted on X on Tuesday, December 26th, Decker noted that the two-year ban on women working in NGOs has profoundly affected countless lives. She emphasized that women's participation is essential for advancing humanitarian efforts. Decker added that a stable and prosperous future for Afghanistan is impossible without the involvement of women. The U.S. charge d'affaires reiterated that her country will continue to stand alongside the resilient women of Afghanistan. Over the past 3 years, the interim government has imposed numerous restrictions on women. The interim government have prohibited girls and women from attending school, university, and participating in the workforce. Thanks for being with Afghanistan News Today. Till the next latest news, have a good time. Goodbye.